Hello. Today I'm continuing my series with the community-based grid trader. This video is simply converting the existing grid trader to MT4 compatible, so the code will compile under both MT4 and MT5, and I'll explain in a moment why I'm doing that. And I'm also going to address one of the suggestions that I've already received for improving the grid trader. So firstly, why am I worrying about MT4 compatibility? Well, MT5 has been available for must be about 15 years now. And at last count, there were still more MT4 installations than MT5. So it would be cutting out a big audience if I did not address MT4 compatibility. And the second reason that I'm converting this to MT4, it's a little bit convoluted. Someone I've been working with for maybe 12, 14 years now has recently launched a prop trading account. It's called trading.com, although it's spelt X rating. Don't ask me, I don't understand it either. But this account lets you basically multiply your deposit 10 times. So you deposit $1,000 and you get a $10,000 account. And so when I ran this test, I ran it on a $10,000 account. And that $5,300 profit is only 53% of the $10,000 account. But if you consider that in terms of the initial $1,000 deposit, then that is 530% improvement on your own deposit. And there are no challenges or tests to open these accounts. You just open an account and deposit funds. There are some restrictions in terms of maximum drawdown, so you should read all the terms and conditions yourself if you are interested in opening one of these accounts. But they don't have a challenge to set up the account, and they do allow things like holding positions over weekends or running expert advisors and so on. I don't say it's for everyone, and this is in no way a recommendation. I'm just letting you know about this sort of account, and that's why I ran the test on a $10,000 account. If you do want to open an account or see more about this product, then there is a link in the description that you can follow. And by way of notification, I will receive rebate if you do sign up for an account through the link that I provide. Now, why does that relate to MT4? Currently, trading.com, xrating.com do not offer an MT5 platform, only an MT4 platform. Now, if you want to, you could open a demo account on MT5 and copy trade that onto MT4, but the actual account that is running under xrating.com must be an MT4 account. So I'm making this conversion and basically so that I can run the tests and see how it will work. The next point is a suggestion that I received, which is to add a button to stop the expert and to close trades, or two buttons, one to stop the expert and the other to close trades. There is nothing wrong with this as a concept. It's basically saying that you will manually intervene when you believe that the market conditions are right to turn off the expert and close up the trades and then wait until things return to normal. I'm not going to be writing the code for this. Firstly, while this is not a bad idea to do, it's very subjective. And so I would need to build in some kind of rules that would be based largely on hindsight at this stage. So it wouldn't be a true demonstration. Secondly, the strategy tester would require that I build in specific rules to say on this date, close the trades, on this date, stop the expert, on this date, restart the expert, and so on, which is not something that I'm looking to do in this expert. I'm looking to have a set and forget expert. And you can always take it yourself and decide that there are certain periods where it should have been closed and periods where it should be running. And the third point is that if you want to stop the expert, you can either just turn off auto trading on the platform, turn off auto trading for the expert, or just remove the expert from the chart. And if you want to close trades, obviously you can just close the trades. So there's not really any need to write the code for this. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. As I mentioned, you can always interpret the market and decide that there is an event that's about to happen or that is happening that could cause a negative influence on your account, and you may want to exit the expert when that happens. And that's something you should be doing with all experts. But this is not something I'm going to write the code for. All right, so let's move on now and look at how to convert the existing MT5 version of this grid trading expert into MT4, and it doesn't take very much. Now I've opened the MetaTrader 4 editor, and the first thing I'm going to do, because this version 1 should be immutable because it's been released, I'm actually going to open this folder. There we have it, and I'm just going to make a copy of that version 1. Just rename that. Come back here, the MetaTrader 4 editor needs a refresh after that. So there's version 1.001. And here we have the MQ5, which I'm going to just save as MQ4. So just file, save as MQ4. So now I have GridTrader MQ4 and MQ5. The MQ4 file, which I have open here, let's change that comment to a 4, doesn't need some of this. All I need, in fact, is property strict for MQ4. I don't need these, and the include will actually include the MQ5 file. So by doing that, I've added property strict. These properties, copyright link conversion, must be in the main file for any expert. So I can't just put them in a common file somewhere. Now, if I open up that MQ5, here it is. This is the MQ5 exactly as it was before. And so all I need to do if I want to change versions is just change the number here, as you would have seen in the last video. And now that will apply to both the MQ4 and the MQ5 version. So having done that, I will jump back to the MQ4 and compile, and you'll see that we have a number of errors, a lot of errors here. So let's just go to the first error. These includes of the default trade/trade.mqh and the same for position info and symbol info. Those files are not included with MetaTrader 4. They are only given away with MetaTrader 5. And it would probably be a mistake to just copy them from MetaTrader 5 because they would behave differently and there would be other errors. What I'm going to do instead is create my own version of this trade.mqh file for MetaTrader 4, and I'll do the same for the position info and the symbol info. I'll create those now and then come back and show you what I've done rather than have you sit through all of the editing. Now I've made these changes already in the GridTrader trade class, which you can see was here under the trade folder. I've now included these if-def statements. So if we're compiling MQL4, and that's a double underscore MQL4 double underscore, these are inserted by the compiler. So if we're compiling for MQL4, then I'm going to include a file called MQL4/trade underscore MQL4.mqh. And notice these are quotation marks, not angle brackets. So this is a relative reference. And I'm looking into this MQL4 folder that I've placed underneath trade at this trade underscore MQL4. And if it's not MQL4, then I'm just including the standard trade/trade.mqh. I haven't put much into this trade MQL4 yet. So if I open that up, you can see it's just the trade class. I'm including object.mqh. The default trade class for, or the trade.mqh file with MT5 also includes the position info. So I've included that here with a ... So what I want to do is go up one level to the trade, get this position info file. And that position info file, here it is. I've done the same thing here. If def MQL4, then I include MQL4 position info underscore MQL4, which again has very little in it, includes object. I've added this enum for position type because position types don't exist in MetaTrader 4, and I've defined position type by as equal to order type by. Numerically, they are the same in MetaTrader 5. The classes so far are just empty C position info, C object. And note, this is C position info, just like this was C trade. These are not the custom because these are MT4 replacements for the classes that come with MT5. Then the same for symbol info. It includes symbol info MQL4, and here is the symbol info MQL4 with, again, nothing in the class. So if I go back and compile, I'll still get errors, but I'll have less now. So what we can see here, there's a refresh and a refresh rates function. They are functions of symbol. And I'm going to make another change here before I go too far, because last time I said that I would just call these objects symbol, position, and trade. I'm going to change them to symbol info and position info. So I've done that. I've replaced symbol with symbol info, where I'm using the object. And in the leg class, I've replaced symbol with symbol info, and I've done the same for replacing position with position info. The next thing I'll need to do for that change, let me just go back to the config file where I created these objects. I'm going to take that out of here. I thought it was a good idea last time. I've changed my mind. And what I'm going to do then in main, I need an instance of symbol info. So I'm going to have to create a global variable here because I use it in a number of places throughout the code. And then in the leg, because this is a class, I'm going to create them as member variables. I'll change this private to protected. So what I've done here, I've declared variables C symbol info, position info, and C trade as M symbol info. This is just to give them a different name to that global variable. So these will now be local to the CLeg class. And I don't see a problem with that. These are not very large objects. They don't take a lot of resource. So I've just got a custom resource inside each of these CLeg instances. I've realized I do have to make one more change. So all those symbol infos and position infos and trades that I have inside this class have to be changed to M symbol info and so on. I've done that now in the leg class. You can see I have M symbol info instead of symbol info, and I have M position type, and somewhere else I have M trade. So that's all done inside the leg class and the main class. I will go back one more time and hit the compile button. Things like refresh, refresh rates, select by index. These are all functions that are provided in the MQL5 version of those trade, position, symbol classes, but they don't exist. I've created the classes now. So I've created the trade class and I've created a position info class for MT4 and a symbol info, but they don't have any of those functions. So let's address the first one first. Refresh and refresh rates. These should be in symbol info. So first I just define refresh and refresh rates, and then I'll create the code for those. See symbol info refresh, it just returns true. Refresh rates, first thing I do is call this colon refresh rates. Now refresh rates is an inbuilt function in MetaTrader 4. If I simply called refresh rates, then I would just get an infinite loop back to this C symbol info refresh rates. So I add this colon, and that will call the inbuilt function refresh rates. And then I return symbol info tick, M underscore name, M underscore tick. So I need to declare these two variables. What this will do is get the latest tick data for the name, which I have to declare, and a tick object. So I'll put that information into a tick object. And I've added those under protected string M name and MQL tick, M underscore tick. And I forgot to put public here. And the last thing I'm going to need to do here is to create constructors. So a C symbol info constructor and a C symbol info destructor. The code for those. So the constructor, I'm simply initializing M underscore name to the symbol. In the MT5 class, there is actually a function that lets you reset this to something else. I haven't written that function here simply because so far I don't need it. And the destructor does nothing, but I've put it there anyway in case something comes up later. So M underscore name will default to the current chart symbol. So symbol info MQL4 is fine. Let me go back and compile GridTrader again. And what's the first error that's coming up? Select by index. So this is in C position info. And what we can see here is that position info, the standard position info class, calls, or the C position info custom class is calling C position info select by index as the first thing that it does, and just passing the index. Now that function doesn't exist because C position info is this class that I've just created. So let's create that. It's a Boolean called select by index, takes an integer index. Now we don't have position select, so if not order select for that index, select by pos mode trade. So this is the MT4 method of selecting an order. There are no positions in MT4, just orders. So if that's unsuccessful, then return false, which makes sense. If that is successful, I want to make sure, because this is intended to be selecting a position, I want to make sure it hasn't returned an order type such as a stop or a limit order. So I've got another test here. If the order type is equal to order type buy or order type sell, then I return true. So these are the two that I'm looking for, type buy or type sell. And if I get to this point, then it's returned something other than a buy and sell market order. So I can return false. Let's compile that file. That works. Let me go back to GridTrader MQ4, compile again. Still 25 errors. Let's have a look and see what's next. This is again in position info, and these are some of the functions built into the position info class in MetaTrader 5. Symbol, magic, position type. I need to put those into the position info MQL4. Now I've looked ahead and found some of the other errors. I have the symbol function now, string symbol, and that just returns order symbol. Magic returns order magic number. Position type, I'm casting to an enum position type, and I'm just getting the order type. Price open, order open price, and ticket, order ticket, casted to a ulong. And then I also have this positions total, which returns orders total. Because when I'm working in MT5, there is a positions total, and I don't have an equivalent for MT4, so I'm just going to return the orders total. Let's try again. This is in the trade class, set expert magic number. To the trade MQL4, I have this long M magic now, and then in the public, I just have set expert magic number, long magic, M magic equals magic. So that sets the magic number that's going to be used by the trade class when it's creating orders. Now, because I have that magic number, I want to make sure that it's initialized. So I'm going to create a constructor, and there's the constructor, and all I'm doing in here is setting mMagic equals 0. I also know that the trade class is going to be responsible for executing functions like position close and position open, and it's going to need a ticket number for that. So I've added a ticket number, ulong mTicket, and here are the two functions. Position close in MT5 just takes a ticket number, and position open takes a symbol, type, volume, price, stop loss, take profit, and a comment in MetaTrader 5. Just start with position close, order select, int ticket, select by ticket. If that's unsuccessful, then we didn't find the order that matched this ticket number, so I return false. If the order close time is greater than 0, so this order has already closed, then I also return false. And if the order type is not equal to an order type by and the type is not an order type cell, then I'll also return false. Remember, I'm trying to emulate the position close, which will not close open orders. It will only close market positions in MetaTrader 5. So if it's not an order type buy or an order type sell, then it's a sell limit or a buy limit. And I could deal with that in here, but I want to make this work in the same way as MetaTrader 5. So I'm simply eliminating anything that's not a buy or a sell. And then I just return the order close function from MetaTrader 4, passing in the ticket, order lots, order close price, which is handed to me as one of the order functions. And then the position open function, I set mTicket equals 0. If the type is not equal to a buy and the type is not equal to a sell, then I can't use position open. In MetaTrader 4, I could open an order as a limit or a stop, but in MetaTrader 5, a position must be a market order. So if the type is not a market order, then I return false. And then mTicket equals order send. So the order send function in MetaTrader 4 returns a ticket number, symbol, type, volume, price, slippage, stop loss, take profit, comment, and the magic number is passed to this function in MetaTrader 4, and I've already stored that in mMagic, so I just cast it to an integer there and pass that into the function. And what I'm returning, because I need a Boolean, is that mTicket is greater than 0. All right, positioninfo.total. Yes, this should be C position info custom, and C symbol info custom, and C trade custom. Silly mistake. All right, there's only two things left here, ask and bid. These are functions on the symbol class or on the symbol info MQL4 class now. I'm just going to create these in line here. Ask returns m_tick.ask and return m_tick.bid. Now I could have used the inbuilt ask and bid functions in MetaTrader 4, but again, because I'm trying to emulate MQL5, if you don't previously call the refresh rates function in MQL5 for the symbol info class, then the values of ask and bid from this class are going to return the last time you called that refresh rates. Where if I simply asked for the ask and bid functions from MT4, that's going to give the most current information. So it might seem that the MQ4 is working a little better because it does give you current information, but I'm trying to emulate what happens in MT5. So you just need to remember to call refresh rates, and then you'll get the ask and bid from that. Everything compiles there. I just want to make one more change here. In the trade.mqh, this is the custom class, I have this set expert magic number. What I want to do is, this is a function that doesn't exist in MetaTrader 5 normally, position open, where I'm passing in a magic number. So typically in MetaTrader 5, you would have to set the magic number on the class and then call the position open without passing a magic number. I'm wrapping it all up into a single function here. What I want to do though is make sure I return this to the state it was in before I called that function. So I'm going to save the magic number that is currently there from the mMagic variable, set the expert magic number to the magic that's been passed in, and instead of just returning position open, I'm going to do bool result equals that, and then I'm going to set the magic number back again. And finally, I'll just return that result. So in this way, the magic number inside the object will be the same after I've made this call. What I will do is just run it quickly through the strategy tester to make sure that everything's good. So now I have the strategy tester set up. It's gridtrader.ex4, Euro USD, that's the same as I used for MetaTrader 5, period H1, although as I said before, the period doesn't really matter. Every tick, which is as close as I can get in MetaTrader 4 to the real ticks in MT5. Dates from 2023 1/1 to 2024 4/1, so 15 months. I have set the spread to 10. I've got the inputs open, so I can't look at that, but let's just go to the inputs. Trade gap still 100 points, order size 0.01, comment, and magic number. Okay. The spread. The options in the spread are current, 2, 5, 10, and so on. Current doesn't mean the actual spread at the historical date in the strategy tester. It actually means the current spread from the broker, which normal times might be fine, but if you test things at weekends, which I often do, then the spreads are quite wide, or if you test them at various times of the day, you can get very wide spreads. So I typically just set my spread. So this will lead to some difference between the MetaTrader 4 and 5 results, but I've turned off visual mode because all I want to do is show the result. I'm going to start now. So I won't show you those results immediately because I ran that and it simply didn't work. And it's because of this line here, this symbol info.refresh rates. When I created this symbol info object inside the leg, I completely missed that it's a different object to this symbol info. So calling refresh rates here does nothing for the symbol info object or the M symbol info object in the leg. Where was it? There, the M symbol info. What I need to do is move this line into the leg on tick. Just change that to M symbol info. So if we can't refresh rates, then it will return. So I've run that through in MT4 and the results are different, 3,968 instead of the 5,800 that I had in MT5. But remember also that I have slightly different data points here in MT4 because I don't have real tick values. The drawdown, 1,989, is still quite a high drawdown for a $10,000 account, and I would want to be less than that. And if I look at the graph, you can see a similar pattern where the equity diverges from the balance. They both trend upwards, but we're really looking at the equity. The problem, though, is that this gap between balance and equity represents trades that are still open, and the longer those trades are open, the more you're going to be paying away in swap. So this is the challenge to remove this gap in future iterations. So that's the end of converting this to MetaTrader 4, and that will be my version going forward. You can download this from GitHub. There is a link in the description, and there's also a link in the description, as I mentioned, to the prop trading accounts that you can set up that will give you a $10,000 account if you just deposit $1,000. But I'm not recommending those accounts. I'm simply making you aware of them, and it's up to you to review the terms and conditions with those accounts. They are quite generous in their terms and conditions. You should investigate first before you open any kind of account, but there is a link in the description. And further disclosure, if you use the link in that description, I will get some kind of rebate on your trading. It won't cost you anything, but I will receive something in return. So thank you for this, and I'll be back next time with some more of your suggestions and hopefully some that I can actually code in and see the results.